Hey, pretty people, this is Mad Laughter, and I'm your host, Sean Hatfield. Today on the podcast is another episode of The Comics Table, where I'll be sitting down with a lineup of comedians before they go up on stage to perform. This was recorded at the historic Cine El Rey Theater in downtown McAllen, Texas. Joining me today, comedians Freddy G, Paul Garcia, and Joseph Soto. Funny guys. Always enjoy sitting down with them. And actually, you can find myself and Freddy G on the new podcast, Bouncing Brains. You can find that at shoutengine.com/Bouncing Brains, as well as on YouTube. First episode's up. Go check it out if you get a chance. You can find episodes of this podcast at shoutengine.com/Mad Laughter, as well as on YouTube. Those episodes are slowly getting up there, and the new episodes will be appearing. And you can find myself at Hatfield Standup at gmail.com, as well as on Twitter and Facebook. It's a bright day. It's beautiful. I'm good. You're good. We're all trying to be better. Nothing more to say. Y'all have fun. Enjoy the episode. Peace.
We're live?
Yeah, man, we're live.
Shit.
Buenas noches, toda gente. ¿Cómo están? Esta noche, sí se puede. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and thank you for joining us tonight. What we have today is the most beautiful plan and entertainment of all time. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be great. Gentlemen, how are you?
I'm good. It's the dulcet tones of Joseph Soto. The dulcet and varied tones of Joseph Soto.
We're coming at you live from Cine El Rey in downtown McAllen. I was going to say McAllen.
And there's our other comic here at the table tonight, Freddy G.
Freddy.
How you guys feeling on a Wednesday?
Pretty good.
Good.
Had a long day at work, but that goes without saying. Obviously, work sucks.
Yes, it does. And yet it's necessary for the continued existence of life.
Passive-aggressive oppression.
Oh, yeah, the hatred you must build up must be beautiful for your comic.
Everybody knows.
Forge you like a fucking Sauron's fucking volcano. Just
that one eye just gleaming everywhere, just watching.
Are you working? Yes, you are. Continue, please.
Oh, dude, those the security cameras, they got the little red ring around them.
Oh, yeah.
Almost. Exactly.
Oh, man. You can't escape them. You cannot escape that bird's eye.
Yeah, I was about to say it's the eye in the sky, man. It's the eye in the sky.
Big brother in the air.
Yep.
Well, I remember watching this one YouTube video. I want to talk about that real quick. This one guy was talking about how it's not big brother you got to worry about. It's little brother you got to worry about.
Yeah, man. There is definitely something to be said there about.
And by the way, for those of you who don't know, I actually picked up my cell phone.
Yeah,
and,
I was about to say
he was waving his private monitoring device at us.
which has dual cameras, front and back, for that, what they call panoramic capture.
Oh, yeah, and those are just the ones they tell you about.
Yep.
Dun, dun, dun.
Like, let's talk about this real quick. Have you ever watched shows today? Like any show, like, for example, NCIS. By the way, I love that show. If anyone's ever listening, I would love to, I don't mind auditioning. That'd be great. But NCIS Los Angeles.
Right
let me break it down for you. Let's say they're looking for some guy.
Okay.
And it's in a public area. Let's say at a pier, right?
Okay.
He does something, maybe kills somebody, runs off with a briefcase because it's always naval stuff. It's naval. That's what they got to do. And, well, there's no security cameras in the area. There's an obstructed view, maybe trees in the way. So what they start doing is they start compiling photos from cell phones, from drones that were possibly in the area with wireless interface or Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. So they start compiling all these photos, and it's like, damn, no warrant? Damn.
Well, there was something that Microsoft demonstrated, maybe back 2010 almost, man, where they were just using an algorithm to scour publicly posted photos.
Play that backwards, maybe you'll get something.
Microsoft is God. And they were compiling these photos through the algorithm and then using these still images to build 3D models of public spaces. Like they had the cathedral in Notre Dame in France.
Oh, I think I might have seen that.
Right. And it was a little patchy. There were parts of the building that didn't get captured in certain images. So,
and they were utilizing, if I'm not mistaken, those little Samsung 360-degree cameras that rotate constantly.
I didn't see any of that, but I would not be surprised if that's not something that. I mean, there's so many projects that get thrown out of Silicon Valley. They're like, we're working on this. It didn't work out, and it's like, but it's still fucking fantastic.
Oh, dude, I bet, dude.
I mean, fantastic in the sense that it kind of makes you want to crap your pants and hide in a dark closet for a while. But that's just, natural monkey reaction to the predatory bird in the, the eye in the sky, man. Shit.
Oh, well, enough about that NSA stuff and whatever.
Hi, guys.
Hey, how are you? The podcast officially started. Oh, it was recording? My bad.
Oh, man.
Whoops, wrong meeting.
That's the meeting on Friday at the alleyway, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in the dark.
We bring the Guy Fawkes mask, right?
Yeah. Remember, the 5th of November. Beautiful movie.
So is this your second show here? Or
No. This I've been doing this for a solid, I'm going to say 3 years now. Maybe 5 months. I want to say 3.5, but that extra month, who rounds it off?
Yeah.
One of the unpaid regulars.
Yeah, the unpaid regulars, which is fine. I mean, it's the credibility that I like. I love the crowd. It's that moment of, like, when you connect with somebody and they're laughing. Hey, motherfucker. Hey, we're locking eyes.
Yeah.
I love that. No, dude, honestly, if I was to put a number on it, 3 years, I do about maybe 6 or 7 a year. I'm going to say about 14, 18 times on this stage. And I love this stage.
Yeah, man. It's a different experience. It's gonna be my second show here, like at this theater with El Rey. But I've told Sean before, I've actually done comedy when I was living in LA or whatever. Done a couple little clubs here and there, and but here this is when I came here and I was looking for an open mic. Bert was the first one to like give me a shot, and he was like, "Hey man, maybe you should hit the main stage." And when I hit the main stage, I got that feeling again of like, oh shit, I remembered
it's the
like
adrenaline,
yeah,
man.
it's
Once
like
it
I
takes
remembered
over,
what I was supposed to be doing and stuff like that. I will tell you though, the crowds are different. Like I've noticed that down here in the valley, people are a lot more friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll give it to you straight. When your set sucks and it ain't worth shit, they at least support you. You know what I'm saying? They ride with you. I'm sorry, man. In LA, if you're not funny, they have no problem staring at your ass.
No words.
No words, no boo. They just stare at you, and it gets awkward real quick.
Like
dude.
you just said something bad at someone's eulogy.
Yeah, and you exactly.
And they're just like, the fuck did he just?
And some people used to look at me and he said, does he know that he has that? Or is this part of the show? And so, you know what I'm saying? So I learned. That is one lesson that I learned in California, and I take it with me at every stage that I go. I have about a minute, maybe if I'm lucky, a minute and a half to bring it out myself. Because if I don't, I'll lose the crowd. Yeah. And in the crowd, I've noticed that they'll start paying attention. Like, is he okay? I want whatever he's drinking. Can I have what he's drinking? You know what I mean? For the people that are listening that don't know me yet as well, I'm talking about my disability. I have cerebral palsy. So yeah, I have to explain that almost everywhere I go. There's even some doctors that don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. And
for real?
Yeah.
No diagnosis?
No, that was a joke, man.
Oh. I was like, what? I was buying that shit. I was like so concerned.
Well, the good thing about the lovely Cine El Rey is, they've got the stairs going up to the stage, so you can't help but fucking. It's not like is his ankle twisted? It's like no.
Yeah. Oh, and it's funny that you actually point out the stairs because my crippled ass still can't go up those stairs, man. Bert has to modify the entrance for me. No bullshit. This is not a joke.
Right on.
I don't go up the stairs, man. I go through the entrance in the back,
Yeah.
and I come out through the back of the stage because I can't come up these stairs.
That explains why that back door is open.
There you go,
'Cause
Joseph.
I've never seen that back
Yeah.
door open before.
Well, guess what? They did that for me. They
Ladies and
can't give
gentlemen.
me a handicap parking space, but they got me that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The city needs to do something now, and it must be done.
that is the advantage of a fully functioning theater is this motherfucker can just transform to your
Yeah,
the irony,
definitely.
this is a theater from the 40s. They were thinking ahead.
And they really were.
Oh no, bullshit! That handrail in the green room is definitely that's a new modification, man.
Maybe for some dancing, I guess.
That's some ADA
Yeah.
shit. They were like, you got to put a handrail on that motherfucker.
Do you remember the very first time that you performed comedy?
Yeah, I do.
Do you remember where it was?
You mean open mic or on this stage?
No. Very first time, period. Like that you had never done it before, and you're like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna try that shit.
Well, it was at a family get-together.
All right,
This probably
that
wouldn't count.
counts.
This probably wouldn't count. It's like maybe 10 years ago when I was like 19.
All right.
It was a family get-together. Audio wasn't working. The boom. My uncle messed up the jukebox or whatever. And I did a little, like at the table kind of thing. We're all just eating because the entertainment was done. Like normally we play like family clips, like funniest moments of the year.
Yeah.
So I had to pick up the ball. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I want to try this out. And I do little jokes here and there. And family buys it. But some of the uncles, no, hey, you should be ashamed.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
don't
You
say
you
that.
always get that
Not at
shit in
this
Mexican
table.
families, bro. All the time. It's like,
And there's always those judging eyes. Oye, ¿qué dije?
okay, exactly.
Hey, no, hey, hey, pendejo. No.
And then you got the one drunk uncle that always says insulting shit when he's drunk, but you're sober, and then you say something insulting, and he's the first one to come up. You're not supposed to say that. I am offended. Motherfucker, have you heard the shit that you say?
Dude, but it was a great experience. But if I want true credibility, it was 2015. Ironically, after I had just gotten fired from the call center.
I like how you said call center and not mention the name. I appreciate that.
No, we signed NDAs. I don't want to get sued.
Exactly.
I don't wanna get sued.
That's what I'm saying.
I've already had to bleep out one person's place of
Yeah.
occupation on this podcast.
It was in March.
Yeah.
January I was fired, but I was already hanging out and chilling out with the friends that started coming to the open mics. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Maybe I should try it. And all the encouragement was there. You're good with voices. You're good with impressions. Do it. Don't be stupid. You're wasting your talent.
Right.
And I do it, and I'll never forget it. I still have that video at home. The first time I legitimately got on this open mic.
And you have the video.
I have the video. I still do. And I watch it every now and then because here's why. I did a good impression of Gandalf
Right.
talking shit about Frodo Baggins. Frodo Baggins. A wizard is never late nor on time, bitch. I arrive when I mean to.
I just love how your original the Harry Potter hat.
That I still want to do, but
Well, here's the thing that was beautiful about that joke to me is when the first time you did it, it was just a subtle little satirical bit of anti-Semitism, and it just got progressively more anti-Semitic
that's
the
not
longer
the
you.
point. I was not being anti-Semitic. No, that's not the point. I threw in other
No,
religions
I know
in there.
I know what you meant.
You know what? For you, I'm going to do that joke tonight. I'll do it. Fuck it.
Oh damn! I want to
Because
hear
you haven't
that
seen
shit.
it.
Yeah,
and
I
that's a
wanna
joke
hear
I
that shit.
retired. Now, here's why. Funny story to that joke. It happened last year, I think it was, right? 2016?
Was I here for an instant?
No, it was in early 2017. I did the joke at Yerberia. There was a little get-together with comics and stuff. There was
Right.
musicians in between. I did not know there were Jewish people in the crowd. Now, I did the joke along with the set, but it was in the middle because it was my transition joke
Yeah,
to where I'm talking about fat problems.
yeah.
Well, my fat problems, and then I go into the world, how it's messed up and stuff. But as a light sense of humor, I did that Harry Potter joke, and I'll save you the trouble. Afterwards, I was I was greeted, not confronted, because I don't want that coming back to me.
Some Mossad type shit.
I was greeted by these Jewish individuals.
Yeah.
And, well, they thought it was funny, but the one guy who constantly, well, don't you think the Jewish community has suffered enough? I mean, there's persecution and religious, persecution. And then, of course, the Holocaust. And I'm just like, oh, no, I have to sit through this lecture. And it lasted a good 10 to 15 minutes. So after that, I retired the joke. So
I have a bone to pick with you, man. And it's funny because we were just talking about this with Sonia
Right.
in regards to the
self censorship of the artist type of thing.
Yeah. So this is my bone, man, and I'm gonna give you my personal experience so that you know I understand where you're coming from
Yeah.
because I've been through the same shit. I did the very first time I did my set here in this theater. I got back. Long story short, and you're gonna hear the bit. You're gonna hear the bit
Right.
because I didn't fucking retire my bit just because somebody got offended. Hey, fuck you! It's my joke. But that's how I feel.
well, you don't understand. This is a community that is worldwide, and that word would spread fast.
Okay, so
I would be exiled.
so so this is what I'm saying. I did it.
That sounds terrible.
No, no. Hold on. Look, here is a just a bit of timing type of thing. There is a certain venue which will be named where a certain comedian, again who will be unnamed, made a joke about involving involving a trans individual.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Several comedians took it upon themselves in an act of free speech, I guess, and just fucking because they're masochists, they decided to go up and do entire sets of nothing but trans jokes. Again, my argument at the time is, are you actually going to use this outside of this event? And the answer usually was no. But my point was, several months later, maybe a couple years later, that venue was actually featured in a national news segment about trans rights activism.
No shit. For real?
Yeah, man, Vice did a piece on him.
No way.
Damn,
You gotta
that's
send me that
crazy.
link. I
thought
want to watch
up,
that.
I thought I put it up in a group that you're in, Joseph.
No, I don't remember. Maybe there's two different groups. Because I'm in the Prodigy one.
Yeah, I put it up in the Proteges.
Oh, Protege. I'm sorry.
Prodigy. Damn, man. Ooh,
Sorry,
just
Professor.
feel it. No, it's just
Correct myself, you say. I'll say the right words.
No,
Yes.
it's like one of these days I'll be really big locally, and then when I'm making that fat cash regionally, I'll be happy as a national touring headliner.
Man, dude, that for real, that
Yeah.
I must have skipped that video in the chat or something, but really, that was featured in Vice?
Yeah, man. I forget was it Beatrix Lestrange, the drag
Right.
queen performer down here? Like they had a whole video of them doing one of the burlesque shows, and then they had people set up there with the. Actually, I take it back. The whole thing that was part of the trans community involving that venue, but the whole thing was about HIV here in the valley. Yeah. Apparently, it's
Damn.
huge.
I don't
That's
even know what to talk
crazy.
about now. Damn, holy shit.
No,
But go back to what
So
you were
how do you
saying.
feel about
Frank.
vaccines? No,
What I'm saying is, I did a set here. Somebody recorded me, and they put me on YouTube, right?
No shit.
So I
Without
got
your permission?
no. They recorded it, and then later they told me, which I didn't give a fuck, but whatever, They put me up. I got like 600 views, and I was stoked. I was like, holy shit, 600 people watched me. Awesome.
nice.
One out of those, it just took one motherfucker to like spoil it for
That
everybody
troll,
else.
yeah, that
Yes.
one troll. Fuck.
So this girl that will forever remain nameless, she said she was offended because she hit me like this. She said, "Hey, you can't use the R word," and they confused the fuck out of me because I was like, well, "What the fuck is the R word?" And she was like, she put in parentheses. She was like, "You can't say retarded." And I was like, "Why the fuck can't I say retarded?" And he's like, "Because that is offensive to me because I have a sister with special needs." And I was like, first of all, I don't know if you saw the video, But I have my own fucking special needs as well. I told her, right? And and then she said, she was like, so I would really appreciate it if you stop using that word. And I was like, how am I going to stop using that word when it describes some people I know so perfectly? And then she said, when will you ever stop being part of the problem and stop using that word? And I told her, I will stop using that word when I stop seeing, and I put in all caps, retarded people. And yeah, man, because which brings me back to my original point. We were having a conversation with Sonia in the lobby.
Right.
Look, dude, I'm a comic, and that time on stage is mine.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Second thing is, you came to the comedy show to watch. You came. Nobody.
And that was always, dude.
Nobody asked you. Nobody dragged you here. You paid to see this shit. I want people that are listening out there. Us as comics have a responsibility. Our responsibility is to provide you with the laughter that you paid for.
For one day out of the week.
Exactly.
One day out of the week when you had a busy week.
Now, the responsibility that you have as an audience is just to sit there, listen, and if you want, be entertained. But you have to understand that when you come here, you're automatically, invisibly signing a waiver that says, I'm allowing to let this motherfucker make fun of me. I might be heckled myself, and I'm going to hear some obscene shit because that's what you paid for.
And what amazes me more is that she stayed throughout the entire set.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is really the only. I mean, all right. There is some shit that I have heard come out of a comic's mouth that if they were standing on the street corner just yelling it in public, I would be. And somebody walked up and punched him in the face, I'd be like, no, that. I mean, that's not right. That's not
But
right.
I get it.
But
I get your
it.
point there.
Yeah. Okay, but in that vein, I think really as an audience member, you have a choice. Now, here's the thing. With most comedy shows, it's like, hey, this motherfucker's going to be on here for 10 minutes. I'm here. Assuming they're there to see the headliner, they actually know who the damn headliner is. Then, or even if they're there for a friend or something, it's like, you know what? I don't really like this guy's set. I'm going to go to the bar and get a drink.
Exactly.
You can walk out. You have that privilege and right to walk out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, if you want to be an asshole and start yelling and shit, first of all, you got to look around and be like, did anybody else laugh at that joke? I mean, you don't, and even then, you don't get the right to judge. There might be somebody sitting there giggling into their fucking drink.
That's the other thing, man. Like, when I said that joke, everybody fucking laughed. It's not like I said it to be an asshole. Well, I mean, I was, right? But I'm not going to take that back. But the point is that I did it with the point of making you laugh, not to offend you. Now, am I going to say sorry for offending you? No. Because, again, you signed up for this shit. I'm just so tired of fucking comedians losing their careers because of something they said. I did, and this is the last thing I'll say about it so we can move on to something else. But, I was technically hired back in LA once to open for somebody. I was paid $40, right? But when you're actually hired, I didn't know. You actually sign waivers, right? You have to sign waivers as to like what you're gonna say, and the venue has the right to tell you. You can't say this, you can't do that, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, right? It was my first time, whatever, it was LA, whatever. So then I go, and then they start explaining to me everything, like, right then and there. So then this person said, I was already ready. I had my set. I was ready, focused, in my zone, everything, man. So I go, whatever, and then they hit me with that. They said, you're going to go ahead and do a set. You can't cuss. You can't talk about politics. You can't talk about drugs. You can't talk about gay people. And you can't talk about mentally handicapped people.
Well, there goes my Bill Clinton material.
So, so I looked at him, and this is not a joke. With a straight face, I looked at him and I told him, so what the fuck do you want me to talk about? And I told him, I was like, you just here you scratched out my whole set. And then he just said, so you don't have a clean set? I was like, I apologize. I don't, and it's not going to get any cleaner than that. So what I actually did have to go do, I literally had to go back to my friend's car, and I had to write a set right then and there, and I had to go back in and just pray to God that it made people laugh. I had to write and perform it for the first time ever, and which I did.
And how was the outcome?
The outcome was decent. I got laughs, but what
Right.
pissed me off was with my original set, I would have killed. And I didn't kill because it... And that's the other thing. The set that I wrote, I just felt that it wasn't me, man, because you took everything away
Yeah.
from me. You know what I mean?
In a way, it was a form of censorship.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
But I
To
get what you're saying, though.
Kind of
real
throw out
quick.
the flip side of that, though, man. I just personally, man, I have had a couple sets where I was forced to clean up some material that I was not in any way sure that I could clean up. And no, it didn't do as well as it could have, man, but it was material that was designed for a fucking barroom crowd, and this was some fucking, little, there were small children in the audience type of thing, man. Like, I don't know what the scenario was as far as the audience-wise, man. Like,
No, these were some grown-ass people. There was no kids in the crowd.
So what was the whole,
Was
like...
it corporate? Was it like a corporate?
I'll be honest. I'm
Okay.
not, I can't speak on it, but because I didn't know the details. All I was saying, hey, you want $50? You can perform. You got these. I said yes. That was my rookie mistake because I was looking for the stage and I was looking for the money.
Right.
That was my mistake. I get it, but I don't
Was this
know.
someone who hadn't seen your set?
Yeah, they didn't. I was
Okay.
recommended by somebody else.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
right on.
so they had never
Well, did
seen.
that somebody who recommended know that this was going to be a clean set? Obviously not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, that's on the booker.
Yeah,
If-
that's on your bookie guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, dude. Like, I'm a heavy set dude myself. Some of my material is going to be like, the struggles of being a big guy in this modern world today.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I mentioned the venue before, but I was sorry. Well,
Right? No, I
at
don't
a venue that should be that should be nameless here in McAllen. I've done material like that, big heavy set material. I did heavy breathing. I did the whole works. And afterwards, I get hipsters come up to me and, don't do that. You shouldn't make fun of yourself. You should be who you are. Don't
This
do
is
that.
who I am.
And I'm like, and my rebuttal was like, well, this is a comedy get together. This is a little open mic. This is where I'm trying material, and I'm sorry that you were offended. I wasn't offended. I was offended for you. It's just it was a whole argument.
We got our fourth head just walking into the room here.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and
Michael Paul Garcia. As he wanders his way around the tables, just jump on the mic, man. We should be good
How
to
you
go.
doing, brother?
what's up, Paul? Welcome to the get together.
Hello, man.
All right, gentlemen, scoot the cooch. What have I missed?
Nothing. We were just talking about self-censorship.
Yeah.
Self-censorship.
I don't think
what I mean.
I don't think we've ever met.
Oh,
Have-
no?
No, have we?
Freddy G?
Well, you saw the flyer.
Right, but that's your real name, all right?
Motherfucker,
No,
that
that's
doesn't
my
mean we've
name,
met.
but
Don't think you know me, man.
But he said it real casually, like he knew me. And
Well, I was like, hey, Freddy G? I was like, I got him. The only guy with the bald head, and I was just wearing the glasses, I got the goatee. I was just like, it's got to be him.
Freddy G, man.
You see, brother?
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
You too, brother.
Yeah, we were talking about self-censorship, shit that you can't say because you're a comedian.
What'd you do
Or
now?
sets
So-
that
What'd you
get
do now,
backlash.
Soto? Huh?
Me, automatically me.
It has to be one of the new
Yeah.
jokes you try to come up with to, like, bring along this topic. No? Nothing like that?
No. Well, beside the Harry Potter joke and shit.
Now, he's already gone all the way through the big man jokes. Now he's got to talk about his burgeoning sexuality,
Really?
and it's just getting weird.
Yeah,
and
the
weird.
moment of exploration.
I thought we were going to talk
when
about the
you-
Daffy the Donald Duck getting head or coming joke.
Now that I have gotten backlash before, but it's just simple stuff like you ruined my childhood,
Yeah.
man. Like all I could think about now is Donald Duck coming on Minnie Mouse's face.
Exactly. But it's still a funny joke.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah.
That's my point. See what he said? It's still a funny joke.
Yeah, and I
That's
guess
my point.
That's what everybody has to get past and not be so sensitive in
Freddie-
the term of terms of
made
today,
a very
right,
valid
basically.
point.
Well,
You're coming to a comedy show. Expect to be amazed
Now,
or disgusted.
if I say the same shit, and we are at church, and I'm supposed to give a sermon, then yeah, kill me, dude. I'm murder me. I'm good, you know. But you came to fucking, like, my job is to make you laugh. Your job is to fucking laugh or walk out if you're not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm of the old mindset if they left the show talking about it, regardless of the laughter or the, spontaneity of the joke or the surprise, as long as they're talking about it afterwards, it's a success, regardless.
okay, I
You
refuse.
just get mad if they don't tag you in the blog post, right?
Those sons of bitches didn't tag
What do you mean, unnamed comedian?
God damn it, don't they know I've scored 5 touchdowns in freaking one game, for crying out
Sons of
loud?
bitches.
Well, like, even to take context out of it, man, I think to paraphrase the late great Patrice O'Neill, man, it's like, this person's a comedian. They're trying to be funny. They're trying to say things to make you laugh.
Right.
They are not always going to succeed.
No.
There are going to be some times that they just go
No, I
way
mean-
the fuck off the mark.
But I mean, it's, it's just...
Did we chalk that off as ranting or like a could have improvised?
No,
at the
no, no.
moment set?
Yeah,
No, you look at them like the shameful creature that they are, and then you walk away. That's how that works.
I believe that.
Yeah, okay. How about
I mean,
that?
to each his own. Everybody has, a different, favorite flavor of pie, I guess, in the sense
Right,
of
that's
right.
true.
But
Right.
my point.
But
'cause-
everybody loves pie, regardless.
Well, let me put it this way:
Yeah.
if you're at a family reunion and one of your uncles starts going off about fucking, some shit, and all of a sudden it's like, what are you gonna do? Do a family group message like, oh my
Right.
God, can you believe how much of an asshole? he
Yeah.
is? Like,
Yeah.
no, it
And
just.
then he's like, "Hey guys, I'm still in the group."
like I've been here the entire time. You're still
Oh no,
saying all
no!
that
One of your
shit.
cousins like fucking tags him in, like fucking like, hey, you got to see this.
I hate that, actually. I really do hate that. That's the only thing I'll get tagged in. Anything else besides that, I won't get tagged in.
But I was the one that brought up the point, as in, like, you yourself as a comedian, do you feel that it's your job to censor yourself because you may offend somebody?
And you're up on stage. I mean, everybody's main objective as a comic is to make, that said crowd laugh. Hey, it was funny to me. Hey, it was funny to some other people. I think it's going to be funny to them. And, maybe you'll get half the room. Maybe you'll get a quarter of the room. But then you use it again, and you get the whole room. And it's like, holy shit, this fucking joke was funny. Like, why isn't, you overthink it. It's too much. No, wait, is it too sensitive? Is it, pushing the limit? No, if you think it's funny and you've gotten a good reaction of it and people are talking about it, then you
Right.
go with it, regardless.
But then again, I also think that sometimes it's the randomness of the crowds. Like, there will be some sets where I do those dirty jokes, and I won't get no negative results. It's just positive. Everyone tell me afterwards, dude, that was fucking great. You did great. I understand your problem. I used to be big myself, And
well, you feel the crowd. Like at Yadabadia,
Yeah.
you're not going to go around saying a bunch of Spanish jokes. every
Censored.
and you're not going to go around saying as many over-the-top jokes
Yeah.
say Jesse does or anything like that.
Perfect
and he still gets away with
example.
it, but
Are you
I'm
kidding?
saying-
Watching Jesse do a set at
I know,
Yebadia has
dude.
been one of the
Oh.
those were the greatest experiences.
Perfect example, man. Like, perfect example with that same joke, the same exact joke, man, that I said. I performed it that same exact night here. I went to the lobby, I was shaking hands with people, whatever. And this dude, not the girl. The girl, I don't know, she wasn't going to come up to me, of course. But some dude came up to me, and this is what he told me. He was like, "Oh man, you killed that shit." And then I heard you, and his focus was the same thing. He was like, "Then I heard you say that retarded joke, and but that shit was awesome. You like to be edgy and push the strings, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, man." And he was like, "That shit was fucking hilarious, bro." And he's like, "I know so many retarded people, but nobody, he was like, nobody will say that. Like, I don't know why nobody says it." And I was like, "You might want to talk to the bitch over there."
Jeez, man.
So,
Yeah, that guy was just too excited for him to throw that R word around just like that.
yeah. He's like,
Yeah.
he said it.
Now
I
you're
could
saying
say.
the R word. He just said retarded 3 times in a row. Now you're
I'm
saying
trying to
R
censor
word.
myself on this
Come on,
podcast.
dude.
The podcast is different.
The R word's ratchet, right? Not
You
retarded. I keep getting confused now.
you can say whatever the fuck you want on this pod. Wait, can we say whatever the fuck? you
Yeah,
want?
man. I mean, don't get me
Okay.
wrong. If I
He's
find
got-
it morally
he's got sense
offensive,
of
I'll
boots, yeah.
bleep it. But
Yeah.
that's
Um,
Just boop.
yeah, I'm more afraid. of people like talk. I'm more afraid of people talking about like how much money I have in my bank account on air because I pay child support than of anything else. But I had somebody ask me on air when I had that conversation with that guy. We were talking about my marriage, and he was like, "Yeah, man," because I had a marriage joke. He's like, "Yeah, man, when you were talking about her sister," and I was like, "So no, man, we," and I was trying to direct the because my thing was very legal.
Right.
So I was trying to drive the conversation. He was like, "No, but about that," and I was like, "This dude's not getting it." And that's when I was on edge. But anything other than that is fair game.
You think Yerberia self-censors quite often, quite a lot?
I think it's a lot of after the fact, man. It's not in the moment because I have very rarely. Don't get me wrong. There was that one night that slightly intoxicated woman went after Rudy about something. I don't even remember what the joke was.
Oh, it was about when he made that vape joke with how it's like sucking on a robot's penis.
Yeah.
Really?
What?
She's a roboticist, or what's the term now?
What's the term? She's a robot rights activist now.
Vape jokes aren't funny.
She really yelled that out.
And I'm
No.
I'm bobbling my
I
head.
think we were
thinking-
yelling that
Oh, you were
out.
yelling that out. All right. Well, that's fine. If you're
I'm
heckling your own guy, it's all right. At an open mic, yeah, it's open game.
I'm bobbling my head right now. I've heard a shitload of Rudy's sets. Rudy's never said anything remotely offensive.
Nah.
Absolutely. He says he's from La Jolla. It's his offensive. Really good.
That's a good one. I like
God.
that.
Dare you remind me that
Refuse
place
to shake
exists?
his hand. I just like, hey, bro.
Those awkward fist bumps.
Good
Like
to see you again, man.
you go in for a handshake, he gives a fist. Oh,
yeah, I know.
okay.
No, you won the championship last year. Great La Jolla crowd. You crossed over the river to get over here.
There were a lot of people from La Jolla here. Yeah, that's true.
Barba's funny, man. He's great. He's upcoming. He's a hustler, dude. He's gonna do great things, man.
No, the important thing is he's a grown-ass man. Occasionally he's going to have some thoughts in his head that are not fucking, suitable for family audiences.
Oh yeah, basically. I mean,
Rudy
it's
has
just
some
all in
beautiful...
his comfort level, man. I mean, like, if he enjoys bubblegum jokes, if he enjoys
Right.
current event jokes.
We're also
if he
talking about the
enjoys-
dude who has a T-shirt made on a joke of his about using Nutella as lube
Yeah.
which is true.
for anal sex. Just to be clear
Right.
on that, you wouldn't put that in a vagina.
Well, no, but I'm saying,
that's
like,
just
those are
wrong.
one of those jokes that you just come up with, like, writing down and like, oh my god, like this is like such a funny comparison. Like, I
random-
want to use it. Yes, like I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna
Like that
I'm gonna
random
market it.
energy wave that
It's
just
mine.
popped into
Yes,
your
it's
head.
mine.
Oh, that's all fuck
This
yeah.
is my calling. Like, the way Mario is with his Bond Smasher, the way Raymond is with his, hustling bullshit, Prenda la Vela, like all that, And now this guy's, Rudy's doing his, man.
I feel a lot of anger. It's getting hotter over on this
Hey,
side of
man,
the
when
table.
you come in third place 3 years in a row, it kind of gets to you. When you're,
Dude, I left the soundboard at home. I can't cue the violins.
Oh, no? It's all good.
Oh shit!
It's all
That's
good. It's all good. They're too small anyways. I still have my high school records, so it's all good. That's all that matters in the valley anyways. Man.
I mean,
But seriously, yeah, like, as far as, like,
Oh, it's a
the
weird crowd. Well, here's an example, man. I was in the middle of a conversation with a couple comics, and they were like, "Oh, somebody's bitching about a comic doing a joke at Yabadea," and it's like, "Oh, really? Who did what this time?" And it's
Right.
like, "Oh, somebody did a joke about cutters." It was me. I did a joke about. I was like, "Ladies, you don't know what it's fuck shaving your legs. What do you know about putting a razor to your throat every day?" And one of the troublemakers, who I'm not even going to put her name out there, but she fucking puts her hand up, and I'm like, "You're right. Let's give it up for the cutters." Nice little joke. Everybody has a giggle. We all know what kind of crowd it is. And we moved the fuck on. I even talked to her afterwards. I was
Right.
like, "Hey, it's always good to see you here." I mean, she's...
Hey, you're still around. That's awesome.
I like a good troublemaker in the crowd every once in a while. But
See-
then fucking the shit talking afterwards, and now all of a sudden it's
right.
like...
And I was
why do
like,
they
you're
have
trying
that
to-
facade if they know they're gonna like tear you down afterwards?
And you know what it is? It's not even that I'm offended
That's the-
that somebody was offended at my joke. It's not some bullshit like that. It's more the fact that, like, okay, if you want to act like this is some community center where we're all here to intermingle with the artists, and go fuck yourself. You're here to start shit.
Right. But I
Yeah,
mean, in
that's
some
true.
comics' minds, like, that kind of hinders their, like, ability to move forward and write. And
definitely.
it's
Can
just
I-
like,
Definitely.
wait, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Like,
Since that incident in 2016, I have never gone back to that venue. Seriously.
really?
Only as invitation, like if I'm invited.
Why,
Right.
dude?
Okay.
Why? Why?
Well, because it's on a Monday and I work on Mondays.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay. Well, before we move past that, is that really the reason why?
Yeah.
Honestly, is that?
Yeah. Plus,
Okay.
I got my truck repoed, so I really don't have wheels to get out of here.
You know.
Oh,
I didn't have a softball game today. That's why I'm here. So it's all good.
Shit.
No, that's cool. I thought you didn't. You just didn't go back because of the experience you had. But
No, believe me. I mean, I love walking around lava too. Sometimes, who doesn't? You know, that little hot piece. Like, oh man, no, this is gonna get me in trouble. Maybe I should just dip my toe.
I don't see shit that way. I don't like.
So you have that sunny disposition.
What the fuck does that mean in English?
Well, I mean,
Like, how are you
long
going
have you
at
been
this,
doing-
man?
how long
Like,
have
what
you
is
been
the
doing-
what is the thought process that you're
How long
applying
have
to
you been
this?
doing comedy?
My thought process is that stage is my playground. You're paying me. Well, you're not paying me because I'm not being paid. But I was put here to entertain you,
You're not being paid.
and this is what I'm supposed to do. So, like whatever I say up there, there's no bearing to it. And know that my point is not to offend you. My point is to make you laugh. You choose to be offended, just like you can choose to be a good sport and laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, I'm not gonna be up there and just go to somebody and just go at them all night without being funny. Like, for example, hey, you fucking dick, and then just move on, and then come back to the same person for no fucking reason and just be like, asshole, and then move on to, because then you're just being a dick with whoever that person is.
Well, hold on. I'm going to make an argument, one, in favor of that, but two, I want to throw a hypothetical at you guys. Okay, in favor of that, I would almost think of a paid comedy show as like going to like the zoo. If you're standing in front of the monkey cage and it's within shit flinging distance of you,
Right.
you should not, you know, they fling a little shit at you. You're like, oh, that's gross, but oh, it's a monkey. Like, don't be fucking shocked. You know what I mean?
Right.
You go to SeaWorld and they give you a fucking poncho because they know you're in the splash zone. Like, it's part of the.
Sometimes excitement
Yeah.
takes over logic, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you would prefer if the monkey didn't shit
It's
on
that
you.
ego that just takes over, the id and all that.
So then don't fucking come. I mean, don't, like, I go back to my original point. Nobody dragged your ass through that door to sit here and like, listen, I just don't like when people try to take the tools I need to work with away. Like, you're stripping me from everything. I
yeah.
can't say anything.
Well, honestly, I think Michael Paul was kind of getting at it, man. When you were talking about like some comics, it's a mental thing. It's on you. It's not like the crowd is sitting there with like, you know, the fucking, you know, ready to give you the thumbs up or
Yeah.
thumbs
Yeah.
down. You know, there's some asshole with a fucking gladius in the back waiting to come and stab you in the heart. That's not going to
Caesar
happen.
sitting
You
up
gotta
in his
remember
little
that half
tower.
of them know it's comedy night. The other half are there for date night, and they're just like, okay,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
something different. Let
I'll
me just
laugh
be
either way.
here.
I'm gonna
and
get
it's gonna be
laid. It doesn't
funny or
matter.
not. But I'm glad I was taken out somewhere on a Wednesday and da da da. da.
Okay, this is the hypothetical I wanted to throw at you guys. This is just something I'm batting around. It's not really something I necessarily hold solid, but like if you go to an open mic, it's almost like participating in a game of pickup basketball. Like they don't
I've never
have to-
done that.
I
Which I'm
call them
great at,
trials.
by the
like
way.
nobody has to play with
I'm
you.
awesome at that.
Well, then you are aware. You can't be. You don't show up and like start dunking on motherfuckers and throwing your nuts in their face. Like nobody's gonna want to play with you. They'll
No,
just
you're
walk
not.
away.
But then again, like you said, if a comic has the mindset of like, I'm just gonna go over there to do my new shit. If it doesn't work out, all right, I'm fucking bouncing out. I'm gonna rebound again, and I'm gonna come back again with some other new shit.
Right.
And that's all you're doing, and just throwing out that shit there. And you know that sometimes when you're there at open mics, majority of the crowd
Are there for music.
are there
Yeah.
are there for music, but are there just to like, you know, there's, you know, a little bit of an asshole here or there too, and they just like, you know, whisper little things and that, and like, oh, that was supposed to be a fucking joke. Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
For me,
And
can I
it's
just
a
add
little-
on?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, say,
Just finish it.
Say it.
For
I
me,
touched a-
same
I touched
situation.
a little. Go ahead.
Situation like that. A couple weeks ago when I was doing a little set here, there was a row full of like dudes that just probably got out the gym, and they were like get wrecked, you know, like real built. That were the shirt was just struggling to keep everything in, and they're just sitting there. And I'm doing my best big man material, you know, that shit that makes skinny or fat people laugh.
Right.
And they're just like, not entertained. They're like, man, shit, I tell fatties like you what to do at the gym.
Oh, Joseph, I would think in that scenario that they're just so self-conscious of their own body fat that you're just
Right,
making them
like
hypersensitive.
those type
You're
of people-
triggering the fuck out of them right now. They're just going like must have gains, must lean.
Like, you can't-
Preteen,
right.
pre-workout. Gotta do it. Let's go.
Chicken and creatine.
She loves me. I know she does. I know she does. She touched it.
I mean, you got the insecure crowd, you got the PC crowd.
Sorry, I just wanted to add on.
No, I understand
Right,
that.
but this is where the whole metaphor of the basketball game kind of comes in, man. Because you're playing with people. Like everybody is there for like different reasons. You know, somebody wants to get some fucking cardio exercise in. They can't really fucking pass for shit, and you know that's the guy at the bar going like, "That was supposed to be a joke," and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, you're participating. I'm gonna fuck with you a little
Right.
bit.
I mean-
you know what I mean? At an open mic, I'm not gonna say it's okay to heckle. Do not show up at an open mic and start heckling people. We will tear you the fuck apart, like emotionally, not physically. We're nice people, but like, I think a little bit of interaction with the crowd at an open mic is inevitable, and it lets them let off a little bit of steam because you know they just saw some horrible people go up there and
Right,
try
of
some
course.
shit that is not good.
And they're just expecting that every single time the next person goes up.
Right. If anything, if you can get them to laugh a little bit, like you almost give them hope to stay a little longer.
Right,
Like,
and they're like,
maybe the
okay.
next person will
Hey.
be good.
No, but not only that, but I think that crowd work, whether it's an actual comedy show or an actual open mic, I believe that it has to. It's essential for you to do it because you need to. It's a way to connect with the crowd. Like it's a cadence. You bring them in, and it's a way to actually connect with the crowd. I feel that if you don't do crowd work, you like I was telling you earlier, you lose them. It's like me. I'm not gonna say I'm a special case, but it's a little different. I was telling them that I learned that I have about a minute to a minute and a half to actually point out my disability.
Right.
Because if I don't, I lose them completely, and then none of my other jokes will ever matter. You get to a point where crowds are looking and they're like, does he know that he has that, or you know?
Is hair loss a disability? Or what was he talking about?
Yeah.
Well, Sean's it's hereditary.
It's a mark of pride in the old country.
Well, you know, like
That's a
everybody.
sign of 15 cows and some sheep.
Whenever your
Ah,
comic
yes.
starts, they have like their little niche at first. Niche? I don't know how you. What do you
Niche.
you
We'll just go with niche, yeah.
Like when I first started, like, got a random call from Marco Liberieta when he was hosting Mark Mayhem. When he's hosting one night. I need you, and that's because I helped write some jokes for him. Come in, da da da. And like my first like 7 minutes was just like roasting jokes of him and Mario, like just making fun of Mario and how big he was, and making fun of Mark and how small he was. And that's how I would usually open my set, like every single time after that, like 3 minutes of making fun of both of them, and then like I'd get into my own jokes, and eventually you overcome that, and like, you know, the people will be there, they notice, you know, hey, you're gonna be doing any more roast jokes? Hey, you're gonna be doing any more?
Right.
You know, I guess they get a feeling for what you do or what you are, and I don't know, you know, some people are good at impersonations, some people are great at one-liners, some people are, you know, funny at storytelling, and
And some people just need to stand there and not say anything, and they laugh.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
As far as PC crowds and like, what was the other crowd I mentioned? The one crowd that I think actually that overrules them all
Mm-hmm.
is the comic crowd, man. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they're the ones that are subtly talking in the back, making these little remarks, saying how, like, oh, yeah, that, you know, I could go somewhere, but, you know, I really wouldn't go that way. Like, oh, yeah, I see where they're trying to say, but that really shouldn't be said at all. Like, you know. And then it comes back to you, and then you're just like, shit, like, this guy doesn't like it. And he's getting, you know, spreading it across to, like, all the other comics, and now it's like, all right, maybe.
All right, I hold two things to be true amongst interactions of comics, man. Anything said at the table, like if there's like a, you know, a shit session going on and a joke comes out of it, I think if anybody's like, hey, can I have that one? Fuck it. You let them have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no claims on that.
I've had a few moments
But
like that.
the corollary to that is anytime you're talking shit about another comic, that stays between you and the comic you were talking
And the
to.
comic you're talking to, right?
Yeah, true that.
That is, and that's not. That's just like, I think you have to have that release valve, because we kind of think about the fact that like when we do get together, it's, you know, we're thinking about performing. We're in a creative space where we're kind of like going, like analyzing everything. It's a little fucking stressful. Like, don't
Yeah,
get me
it
wrong,
is.
I like you people, but I see you under moments of stress, man.
Yeah.
Like, so I think like a little bit of, because, all right, let's be honest, not every comic would hang out with every other comic. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a fraternal type of thing going on. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's
we're,
true.
I think like publicly we'd all have each other's backs, you know what I
Right,
mean, for
of
the most
course.
part. You don't break breaks.
No.
Yeah, but
Solidarity.
there's fucking people that you just can't stand. Like Bobby.
Yeah.
I just Bobby. I'm fucking with you. I hope Bobby hears this shit. We're gonna have him on Thursday. Bobby's the shit. I'm just joking.
Bobby's a teacher, of course.
Yeah, even that though, man. I think there's a little bit of check. Don't get me wrong. There is sometimes that cattiness gets involved, and all of a sudden
Right.
it's like if it gets to the point where you're hearing about a conversation that some other comics have, and it's like, okay, one, why is the person that's telling me this? You
Right.
know, is this some rumor I didn't hear, or is this some shit that you just thought was
No,
was
man.
juicy and you wanted to share with me?
Just strengthen numbers, man. Like they just want to make sure that they have like that validation. Of,
Right.
Like, hey,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
right. Look
man.
at all these guys are agreeing with me. Like, what the fuck are
Oh,
you talking
dude,
about?
virtue signaling amongst comics is fucking disgusting.
Yeah, dude.
It is disgusting.
It's lethal, man.
It's
But
like,
it still
look, do you think
happens.
it's funny? Do you think it's funny? Well, no, but I think, no, funny.
Right.
One variable, man.
Yeah.
It's sad. I mean,
Just have a moment for all the shit that's been talked.
we blame Bobby on that one. It's all right.
Uh,
Bert. And give a shout out to Bert on this podcast for letting us do the thing that we do for these past couple of
Yeah.
years. as
Wonderful
always.
Bert Guerra.
Keeping
That's-
art alive.
If it
in
wasn't
the
for
District
Bert,
of McAllen.
I would still be living off disability.
Bert, you still taking the bus around town? Awesome, man. See? Contributing
Supporting
back to the
public
economy.
transit.
Cutting down that carbon.
One bus card at a time.
I'm lessening my footprint in this world. No more foot carbon.
And next week I'll be donating my feet, yes.
Is it a kids show tonight, Bert? Just wanted to ask. Huh? Bert, kids show? Is it a kids show tonight? Is it a kids show tonight? Oh, I guess so.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's true.
do I
It's
need
cheaper
to like
than hiring
re-
a babysitter.
Yeah.
do,
We've
do-
turned into a carnival.
I think I might
awesome.
use it.
do I have to rewrite my set
No.
again?
No, well, unless you want it. That's
No,
the whole
no,
point,
Freddie.
man. If you want to
You
rewrite
gave
this,
us a whole lecture
rewrite
on
it.
it. Don't do
This is
that.
the whole
Don't,
exactly. Like you see the crowd and you're like, ah,
Don't make me go on a diet.
It's like, should I just make life harder for myself? Should I do that?
Knock fart jokes.
Yeah, knock knock. That might work. I mean, the kids may participate as well. So.
I'm not gonna lie. Like one time, when my youngest, one of my younger cousins came to one of my shows, I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna do all the pet jokes. Like I'm not gonna do any ex-girlfriend jokes or anything like that. Just simply pet jokes, puking around no masturbation jokes, nothing like that.
Mm.
But then I was just like, I did an okay show. I could have done better if I did all the shit that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Don't let that affect you at all.
I think it's perfectly okay to go in like on, I guess, an experimental set. It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't usually do this. I think this is a workout set. I'm gonna try this. I'm just gonna. It's like, what if I
Improv.
tied one hand behind my back and then punch myself in the face? How would that work? I don't. There's something to it though, man. You stretch yourself a little bit. You know what I mean?
One time I tried to come out to one of my sets talking like a black comic, just telling my jokes, but talking like a black comic the entire time. And I was just looking at the crowd's faces, and they're like, "This guy really talking like that?" And I was just like, "Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be dumb, man."
Now I'm just curious about his upbringing. Yeah.
And everybody was just like, "All right, I guess that's funny." They were just too confused to get the joke, or just focusing on the damn accent that I was giving the entire
Not
time.
gonna lie, that might have happened to me once or twice as well.
But I mean, you just want to you just have this feeling that comes over you. You know what? I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna
you
do a
felt
set.
An energy just overcome you, and then you're.
I'm gonna try it this
Yeah.
way now.
I'm
Let me
gonna
see
do it
what
this way.
Let me see what I get. What feedback I get back.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, all right. First of all, man, like most times you going up, it's not like it's like, oh shit, maybe they won't hire me again. It's like, no, I'm doing 5 minutes, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
I've had eyebrow like sweat moments like that. Fuck, what am I gonna do? Like shit, damn. It's only 5.5 minutes.
Now it's a little
Cine El Rey
crazier when
folks.
somebody's like going to do like maybe like a 20-minute set, and they're like, "Hey, you think I should do this whole new chunk of material I've never tried before?" And it's
Right.
like,
Definitely.
no.
maybe wedge it in the middle.
No,
I
no.
don't know.
Like
Yeah.
with that, like I'm just like, nope. I'm going back to Old Faithful jokes. Like I know there's probably a few people in here that have heard them before, but the rest of these people haven't. So
And that
you're
brings
gonna
up
have to
another-
suffer through it. Like
That brings
I
up
just
a-
know a
Sorry.
majority of the people are gonna laugh. So forget you. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
I cut you
sorry.
off. I cut you off. Go ahead.
I feel like that salesman that's always trying to like get into like moments, and that one person tries to talk. Well, how much? Let me understand. One thing, the mileage on this thing is incredible.
You gotta take control of the call, Joseph. You just
I
can't.
know, I
you
learned that the
sit
hard
there,
way.
all right?
But
You
that-
work in customer service for crying out loud. Should you?
I
do-
did.
yeah.
I did. I let them rule my life. But that brings up a good valid point. Would you say there's like a certain percentage where we improv at some point in the set or at the night of that night? You know what I mean?
I usually do. I know at least one or two jokes come out improv.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
cut
that's
you
all-
off.
that's all right.
I tend to do that. I did that last night.
Mhm.
When I do 2 jokes back to back and completely got no reaction, it's my cue to, oh shit, I gotta get them back. So I'll revert back to.
Yeah, I've
you
had
know what I'm
moments like
saying?
that. Yeah.
So I see, and last night's jokes, it wasn't. I don't know if they would have been good or bad. Because what happened to my dumbass? What happened to my dumbass was that I wrote 2 punchlines back to back, and I completely skipped them. I gave the setups, and I just completely blew the fucking. And then I was like, oh shit, I forgot the punchline, the most fucking important part of the joke, and I forgot.
I've been there.
Yeah,
I've been there myself,
so-
dude. Like it sucks.
Oh, that really sucks when you're going through like one of those setups where it's like, I need y'all to be with me. Like, this is not going to be funny for just a
Right.
second here.
And here's the thing,
And then you
like,
get to
you're
the funny
doing
part and
good.
you're like, I don't remember why this is funny.
Yeah.
I don't.
Ah,
Fuck.
dude, I
fuck.
hate those moments. Like you're actually selling it. You're doing a great job. They're chuckling. There's that ripple effect, and you
I think
miss
that's a
that
sign that the
punchline.
joke's not. You haven't done enough work on that joke, man. Because usually when
True.
you're, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's those moments where you just hit the wall and you go, oh shit! Like you weren't. What's it? You didn't buffer enough on the video, and now it's giving you the
Uh-oh.
little.
Human lag. We're lagging him. Oh, bear with us
Buffer.
for a moment as he buffers.
Buffer. Buffering.
Oh, but yeah, dude.
I mean, it's all in the storytelling, man. Like, you just gotta make sure you keep the crowd's focus, basically, leading up to that punchline.
Right.
To connect to his point, that's another thing that I found that really works, at least for me. Being able to storytell, but I found that the more I storytell about, because in my comedy, all I talk about is me, dude. Like me, I tell you my experiences, me, what I'm going through. The way I describe my comedy is, the point of view on life through a retarded person.
Right.
It's what the fuck. It's like what we do. It's like that lady told me. She was like, when are you gonna stop doing retarded jokes? No, she didn't say that. That's what she meant. But she was like, when are you gonna start doing? When are you gonna stop doing handicap jokes? And I was like, whenever the fuck I stop being handicapped, I'll go ahead and stop. You know, and it's never gonna happen. So, but
Well, that very mindset is a little bit of disconnect, man. Because she's basically going, why aren't you doing the things that I do because I believe things? It's like, I don't know what you believe. You don't know what I believe. Why don't you ask me a question? Like,
Yeah.
hey, what is your...
exactly like get to know me first
Right.
and get to know where I'm coming from, at least on a serious level, before you come and judge. You know, oh, why you calling them retarded, or why you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
like get to know me first at least. I'm not saying you
Would
can-
you be offended if another comic without a handicap
no
was
not
doing
at
the
all.
same handicap jokes
No,
or similar handicap jokes? you know?
Look, this is my rule. You can talk about anything as long as you're fucking funny. But if you talk about it and you're just being an asshole, and that's what it is, you're an asshole. There's no punchline, there's no build up, there's no nothing. Then yeah, that's a little weird and it's a little off. But I think as a comic yourself, you have the right to talk about anything that you want. I strongly believe in that shit. Just don't get mad, or like Joseph, like don't get mad when I make a fat joke. You
And
know what I'm
that's the
saying?
gray area right
So-
there.
I wouldn't mind. If you did it, I'd be laughing my ass off, no matter what the delivery.
Really?
But what if it wasn't funny? What if it wasn't funny? What if I'm just being a dick?
Well, that's impossible with me. I'd still kind of chuckle a little
See,
bit. I'd still
that's the thing, and you know why he would chuckle? Because he's at a comedy show. That's why.
So if I were hosting and I was introduce you up, and then I was like, "Oh, you want to get Joseph up here faster? Let's throw on that CD of ice cream truck jingles. He'll run up here as soon as
Yeah.
possible." You know, like
because that not only gets me in the mood and releases like the tension of like, oh man, I'm locked up right now. It loosens me up, but it also loosens them up, the crowd. They're
Right.
like, oh, this guy just called him fat fuck in front of all of us.
Right.
Oh, shit.
and then by the time you get up there, you'd be like, "All right, let me get him back." And
I did a set once at an open mic, and this Australian dude, he went after me, and he did a bit. He did a whole bit. It was like 3 minutes long, 3-4 minutes long, about the Special Olympics.
Oh my
was
god.
that
That-
the one that set
that-
everybody
that-
on fire?
that
one
sh-
time
I
was that
don't-
the guy that like got everybody like under like
No.
this whole
That he set him on fire.
like this, like he set like a whole fire, like with all the feminists like out there and everything like that. Like the
No.
next
What was
day,
this?
they started like
When
calling out
the
like all the
fucking-
comics that yada
No, that
Where the
was.
fuck was
I don't
that?
I don't even know if he still does comedy.
I remember somebody did a joke
Shit.
about the Special Olympics or something similar to it, and then like
No.
everybody got all
Well, this
pissed off.
wasn't here.
Oh,
This-
that's-
Oh, it was over there. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
sorry.
sorry.
yeah, no, it's
Who?
Jamie? Wasn't that Jamie?
no, this wasn't
I
here.
think maybe.
It was somewhere.
Okay.
Else. It was somewhere.
Oh,
It
this is
was
somewhere
somewhere else. Yeah, it was this Australian dude, and he actually he did a whole bit. It was like 3 minutes long. I know because I timed it. He did the bit on the Special Olympics, and he wasn't retarded, or I mean, as far as I know, he wasn't. But it was funny, dude. It was fucking hilarious. I was laughing. The sad part is that I was probably the only one in there with special needs, and I was the
And
only
the
one
crowd
laughing.
wasn't. The crowd wasn't having it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I turned around and then they were looking at me, and I was like, I told
Waiting
them,
for your reaction.
Yeah, I told them, I was like, what?
Do we laugh? No.
I
Do
was
we
like,
hang
what?
him?
It was funny. I mean, shit, it was fucking funny.
Do we lynch him?
Did we lynch him?
Oh, jeez.
They're ready, dude, with their freaking.
Get your tiki torches.
Get your torches ready. It's a
Well, Matt,
lynching.
I think about it like this. All right, like you're saying, like sometimes comics are a little bit uncomfortable with PC crowds, which I think is a bit of a cop out because I mean, people's idea of what's politically correct varies on depending on where their mental
Right, their whole mindset. And,
where their allegiances lie,
Right.
whatever. But I think of it like this, man. Like a lot of the jokes that get the offense are not aimed at certain people. Some of them are, man. Like you get certain jokes that it's like, okay, that's aimed at somebody. Like you were trying, maybe the comic was trying to be funny, and they veered off into being a dick.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which happens. Again, you're not always going to hit the mark, right?
Yeah.
Which is why, I mean, there is a little bit of, if honest self-censorship is going, like, what do I actually want to say? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, like, because sometimes you just get a little free with the tongue, and it's like, oh, shit, now I'm being a dick.
Mhm.
You know?
To revert back to your point, there's something really mindful that I want to tell you. What you're saying, would you mind if somebody did a handicap joke and they weren't handicapped?
Right.
It's cool. I wouldn't, but I do believe that there is shit. Not as far as content, but I don't think like me. I'm Mexican, right?
Right.
I don't think it'd be cool for me to openly talk shit about another race. Like, that didn't come out right. That's not what I wanted to say. How can I explain this? Like, okay, I got it. So it's cool to like talk about other people, other races and stuff, but not use the racial slurs. That's what I'm not directly cool with. Like me,
Right.
I'm Mexican. I'm not all the way comfortable with me or somebody else of a Mexican race or a white race or calling a black person the N word. You can talk about the if you got a black joke, whatever. Because I've had black jokes before. Because I used to date a black woman. But you know, as far as the slurs and stuff like that, I'm kind of on the fence with that because it's not. I feel, and there's people against me, and it's cool if you're against me. I don't mind. We have different points of views, but it's like I feel that it's not. It's just not your place to racially slur on somebody else. But the gray area, like you were pointing out, that one comic, old school comic, funny as hell, the old one that talked about every race.
Oh shit!
Everybody.
He just died recently, right?
Yeah. He talked about Jews.
Don Rickles?
Yes.
There you go.
Don Rickles. There you go.
He
Beautiful
talked
human
about
being.
black people, white people, brown people, yellow people, Asian,
Right.
everybody. His key was that he was funny.
Right.
So I revert back to the same thing. If you can find the creativity in the funny, but actually be really funny about it, you can pull it off.
No, I mean, you can't.
But a lot of us, because I've heard some white comics say some black stuff, and I've heard black people say some white things. I'm just not all the way like cool with the slurs and shit, the racial slurs. It just makes me feel a certain kind of way. But I wouldn't go up to them and I wouldn't be like, "Hey man, shouldn't be talking about black people."
right.
Because that's them, you know, that's their material. That's you know, it's not my place to be judgmental and be like, you know what I mean? Like that girl that came up to me. I'm offended because I have a retarded sister. I mean, she didn't get it from me, I guarantee you that, so how the fuck is that my problem?
Yeah.
Well, I think of it like this, man. Like, all right, you're the person that has to sleep with you at night, right? So if you're think about being in a relationship with someone, is there something that could come out of that person's mouth that would make you go, I'm going to voluntarily not sleep with you tonight? Like, you know what I mean? It's like that level of like, that's the intimacy of like when you're in that creative, that's what I mean about the self-censorship. It's like, is this something I actually want to say? Okay,
That's our cue.
We're getting played out here. I want to
Yeah.
I want to end this on some comedy rather than this deep, dark, tragic shit. Real quick, each one of you, a joke that has offended you. Like
joke
not
that
not
offended
one where you were like, but just one where you were like just you didn't even expect it. You were just like, I didn't realize I was sensitive in that area. Anybody?
No, not really. I mean,
I'll throw one
I
out
got
there.
one.
White people mayonnaise jokes. Fucking
What?
just for some reason, like white people mayonnaise jokes. It's like like my family.
White people mayonnaise?
I don't. Yeah, man. It's
Mayonnaise
just
joke.
that's just one of those jokes that's like persistent. I don't know why. It's not like I'm ever gonna like have a discussion with someone about it. But just like for some reason, when I see a comic doing that, it's just like it's cheap, man. It's like motherfucker. Like yes, these German ass motherfuckers eat mayonnaise. I don't know what to tell you, man. Love that shit.
I don't know.
I'll be honest with you. Jesus, and I've heard this before. This is why I'm saying it. Like Jesus going to hell and being comfortable there type of joke. It was creative. It was like there was a whole setup and bit behind it, but it was just it made me feel like
You found the edge of the blasphemy where it was like
I
a little
was
too
like,
much.
Nah,
Okay.
dude, I don't know if I would. You know what I'm saying? But again, I didn't tell him anything. It wasn't my cup of tea, and I just chose to ignore it. Just
Right.
put it aside. And
Well, that's what I mean, man. Like, I think we all got like that little place where it's like, I don't, the whole you were
Right,
saying it
yeah.
should I wouldn't word it that way. It's like okay,
Exactly. Right.
yeah, but we got to be aware of that,
I
like
mean, you
within
do,
our
of
own
course.
like creative nature. Anyway,
But
you guys want to throw
Yeah.
one out, or so we got to wrap up here in a second. Dig the brain.
Yeah,
Dig-
I
no.
can't think of anything right now.
it'll come to me, but
Unflappable.
Maybe Joseph's Donald Duck freaking impersonation.
That one
That's
makes me a little
offensive.
uncomfortable.
It
I'm not
does,
gonna
I
lie.
haven't heard it, so don't ruin it for me. I want to hear it, and I'll tell you if it was
When
fucked
you hear
up
it,
or
and then
not.
when you go to the restroom, you're gonna be in there in the
Or is it gonna make me
fetal
jerk off?
position.
Or,
Let's
No,
put it
it's-
this way. I don't think either me or Michael Paul could do it justice.
No.
And after you heard it, you will never believe in justice again.
all right.
all right.
And
Alright.
with that,
And on
we're
that-
wrapping this
Oh,
up.
you guys want to throw out your social media real quick?
Yes, you can find me, Freddy G, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
I have a Twitter. It's Paul_Michael 84. And I rarely go on there. I only go on there to get in combative arguments with sports commentators and such. So
Beautiful.
don't get
You
into
gotta
it
keep
with
that
me.
alive. You gotta keep it alive.
Instagram, I do have, but I have not posted any pictures in about 2 years. Facebook, you can find me on there, and my adorable family that I make fun of all the time.
Jesus, man, I said we shouldn't end on a depressing note.
For me, it's simple. Facebook, Joseph Soto. It's pretty as simple as it gets. Instagram, it was supposed to be like my stream page and stuff like that, but it never happened. Twitter, it's at Joe Meggles. You can find me there on Twitter. Yeah.
Did you
No
say at
YouTube?
Joe Meckles?
Meggles.
No
I
YouTube.
was like, oh, wait a minute. Hold
No
on.
YouTube page for the millennials.
Nah, no YouTube page, no live stream, no Twitch or.
You gotta get a
Mixer.
YouTube page, man.
I-
That's the thing
I'm
now.
working on it.
Everybody's
You
on
do
YouTube.
have to get a YouTube page. I got a YouTube page. I got one motherfucking video, but I got a YouTube page.
You see that?
Yeah.
That's ingenuity right there.
All right.
And he's retarded.
Yeah, there you go. See? And by the way, ladies and gentlemen,
nonchalant way. And he's
and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, I was offended by that.
Beautiful talking with y'all.